Well, in our other story of the day, kind of the big news, and the article I'm about to cover here is in conjunction with the White House press briefing that was yesterday, and we'll get to that in just one moment, but the PGA and LIV merger deal increases Saudi Arabia's influence on golf. This is kind of, I don't know why this is hitting like mainstream airwaves, but this was one of the main questions that was asked and main stories that was brought up in the White House press briefing. So I had to look it up. I didn't know what the hell was going on. So the PGA Tour, the dominant force in men's professional golf for generations, and the LIV Golf, I guess they call it Live or Live, which made its debut just last year and is backed by hundreds of millions of dollars in Saudi money, will together form an industry powerhouse that is expected to transform the sport. The rival circuits had spent the last year clashing in public, and the tentative agreement that merged from secret negotiations blindsided virtually all of the world's top players. I remember, oh God, why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? The best golfer in the world. I can't even think of his name. But anyways, one of the best, Tiger Woods. Forgive me, Tiger Woods. He's a local guy. Went to Cypress High School, which was really close to me at the time. Was offered a huge deal, and I believe he declined it because of everything that's going on with the human rights issue with the Saudis. So other people signed on, of course. The deal would create a new company that would consolidate the PGA Tour and television contracts and marketing muscle with the Saudi money. So this is kind of getting brought up with this merger, and if the White House supports it, because the president was briefed on it. And Karine Jean-Pierre was given a lot of like, oh, well, I'm not going to leave a comment. She said this a bunch of times. We're about 39 minutes into the briefing here. She was asked probably 6 times before this, and she kept saying no comment. So we got a Wonder Woman here, Fox News, Jacqui Heinrich, questioning her on this PGA and LIV merger, the Saudi merger, and why you can't make a comment on it. So she pushes back, and then in our last clip, we have Ed O'Keefe saying, hold on a second, you've been commenting on private companies this entire time. Why are you not going to comment on this one? Hit that like and subscribe, folks. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and roll it.
Okay. I know you won't comment on the case involving the president's son, but the president previously criticized the Supreme Court ruling that his legal team is preparing to use, should he be charged, as an affront to common sense and the Constitution. I just want to know if that statement from June of last year still holds, or if he is viewing that ruling in a new light.
I'm just not going to comment on this.
And on the merger, the Wall Street Journal editorial board said this is more than just a private deal. It's really about MBS sort of thumbing his nose at the president. They point out that the Saudis entered a China brokered deal with Iran. They are cozying up to Maduro, cut oil production ahead of Blinken's visit, helping Russia, driving up prices, hurting Biden. And they write, is Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman trolling President Biden? Call it the revenge of the pariah.
I can't comment to or lay out what the thinking of the Saudi Arabia official or government are. As it relates to this merger, we're just not going to comment on this deal. It is 2 private entities, and we're just not going to comment.
Does that risk making the president look weak if there's no comment? When you have Democratic senators saying that the president's Justice Department should be looking at this with respect to antitrust questions, foreign registration questions, doesn't no comment fall short?
First of all, the president does not look weak. This is a president.
Yes, he does, Karine. Oh God, he looks weak physically and mentally. I mean, on every front, the guy looks weak. He literally tripped over a sandbag and then couldn't get up off the floor, just like last week. What are you talking about, Karine? There's a reason why you don't show for him out. He literally is weak, and I'm not trying just to be mean about the guy, but his own White House aides had to move his time of what he's allowed to do from 9 a.m. now to 12 to noon. He only works 4 hours a day now, supposedly. That's not coming from me. That's coming from Axios and other reporters out there. I mean, the guy is weak, and of course everybody looks at him as weak. That's why Russia made Ukraine. China's doing everything they're doing. That's why Saudi Arabia's doing what they're doing. Everybody knows. Everybody knows, Karine.
And because of his leadership, has brought together our allies and partners again, which certainly was our foreign policy relationship with heads of states was gutted and destroyed. by the last administration. And this is a president that has been able to strengthen NATO alliance again because of his leadership, has been able to bring more than 50 countries together to help support Ukraine as they're battling the aggression from Russia. And that is occurring because of this president's leadership. And so I think that is important. And because we're saying that we're not going to speak to a private merger, a company's merger, a private entity, does not make the president weak.
He was briefed on it, though, right?
It does not make the president. Of course, he's going to be briefed on it. He's the president of the United States. But does not. But we're not going to comment on it because it is a private entity. We've been consistent. We've been consistent. He's the president of the United States. He gets to know everything that's going on in the world and in the country, right? That is important for him to know. He's one of the leaders of the free world.
To get briefed on private.
All right, I've answered your question. We're going to move on. Go ahead, Court.
Hey, I don't blame you, Jacqui, for laughing because it is literally laughable. Everything that just came out of her mouth is an absolute freaking joke. An absolute joke. It's a clown show. I love the fact that Jacqui Heinrich is laughing about this. Everybody in that room should be laughing every time she answers a question because she is so head spinning. I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful here. I know we shouldn't have to be careful, but hey, that's what we're rolling with on the YouTube. We're on Rumble as well, but hell, this is where we're at. So she's sitting here going, well, we just don't comment on private companies. It's a bogus lie, and she gets called out here on the tail end of the press briefing. As you can see, she's about to roll up her binder here and walk off the stage. So Ed O'Keefe interjects here and goes, hold on a second, this is not the only time you've talked about private companies. Go to roll it.
Can I just clarify one thing? You said repeatedly here that the White House didn't want to comment on a private entity. A quick search back through briefings in recent months finds that you commented on JP Morgan's merger or purchase of First Republic, and then you were asked last November about Elon Musk buying Twitter, saying we're going to keep an eye on that decision. Does the decision to not comment today have anything to do with the fact that the Secretary of State is in Saudi Arabia right now?
No, not at all. Not at all. We're just not going to comment on this. And look, I also said with the Elon Musk, I also said the same thing that I said today, is that we're not going to comment on a private entity. I actually said those words as we talked about Elon Musk and Twitter. And so that's going to continue. We're not going to comment on this. We're going to focus on the American people. We're going to focus on what their needs are as it relates to American families and as it relates to abroad and also the Middle East as well. And so that's the president's focus right now. But I've always been very clear. We just are not going to comment on any types of mergers. And I know you pulled out those specific things, but I also continued and said I'm just not going to comment on mergers or private entities.
She said the word continued. Yeah, I said a lot of stuff, but then at the end, I just said I'm not going to comment on it. And I actually said those exact words. So you can ramble all you want about the actual thing. And at the tail end of it, go, well, I'm not actually going to comment on it, even though you commented on it. So you get called out because you lie. And when it's not kind of affirming your narrative, if it's not going along with the flow of what you want because Joe Biden looks weak, and you got people there in the Saudi Arabia conducting whatever diplomacy they are, whatever negotiations, whatever the hell they're doing there. I have no idea. You don't want to talk about it. So that's how the Biden administration's rolling. That was one of the main questions of today was this merger. And I want to make sure I brought it to all your attention of what was going on and her dodging the question of everybody in the room. And I'd appreciate a like and subscribe if you feel like you earned it today. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.